Hey y'all, Sarah Ansboury here, and today I want to talk to you about a body shot, basically. How do you defend against a shot that's your opponent is coming and they're going right up at your shoulders or your body? This is where a lot of players struggle with, and there's a couple things to think about. If I see my opponent, if I see them going and taking a big step backwards and getting ready for that paddle, well, then what you want to assume is they're going to attack, okay? Now, when you're doing that, so what I'm looking at is if my opponent does that, I'm actually going to kind of get up on my toes a little bit and push my paddle out farther from my body. And what I have to make the assumption is they're going to come at my shoulders, okay? Now, everyone's going to kind of prefer, what do you want to defend with? Do you want to defend with a backhand or a forehand? It doesn't always have to be one, it doesn't have to be a backhand necessarily. A lot of times I prefer to defend with a forehand because I'm looking to counterpunch and do something with it. So as that ball's going, as it's rising, there's a couple of things. One, I want to kind of think of sometimes I think of a little cat kind of getting in position a little bit, and I'm actually going to get up, okay, and the ideal is I want to see my opponent's paddle, okay, up against. Now, so what I'm going to do is I want to kind of go into my forehand space. So what I'm going to do is put my weight slightly in my left side of my body, and now I'm going to basically have my drilling partner throw some balls up at my shoulders, okay, and up, and I'm guessing it's going to go a little higher. It's a little windy, so there we go. So you see how I'm kind of keeping it out here in front of me, okay, and being able to hit it down, okay. So if I want to take a backhand, okay, so now I'm going to kind of put my weight towards the right side of my body, because again, I'm a right-hander, so if you're a left-hander, switch it, okay, and now what I'm looking at is, so now she's going to come up, and I'm going to go down. So see when I'm doing this, that my non-dominant hand is actually keeping my paddle out in front. So the mistake people make is they throw this elbow out and they try to slap at it. So what I'm really doing is thinking of like this is your gun, your laser gun. You're kind of pointing in this direction so that you're looking to counterattack or block if you want to. So what I'm doing is creating space away from my body. Notice where my right elbow is. It's not doing this, okay? So this mentality of like sliding in the chicken wing, it may get the ball back, but is it going to do anything to help you? Probably not. So what we're looking for is I want to be in a position, I want to hit the ball down. So I'm going to take the tip of my paddle and point in an upward position. Now here's a huge, huge thing. The grip that I'm using from a dink to a block or attack is actually the same. So what I see a lot of people do is they go like, oh, I got a block, and they turn and do something like this. That's going to generate some issues in the long run. Now, not only is it going to be hard to control the direction of the ball, but now you're hitting from your elbow. So what we are looking at is keeping our shoulders kind of down and our elbows down so that when my opponent's coming at me with the ball, I'm ready for it. Now I can kind of turn and counter it and even kind of lean it down. So now I'm creating the space away from my body to do something. So you can almost think what I'm going to take with my left hand is I'm going to kind of push away to create a downward trajectory. So one of the most important things when creating this counterpunch, once I see my opponent's going to attack my body, I want to really get my shoulders working together. So I see a lot of people go and grab the paddle somewhere to try to defend. This is really something we want to try to avoid, because then we end up slapping at it instead of coming down on this. So think if I had just my hand, okay, and I'm just going to catch that with my hand. It's exactly what I want to do with my paddle position. So if you even want to start with your partner throwing balls at you and you catching with your hand, that's also a great way to work on this, and then move into the paddle and get them a little bit more aggressive with it. So you're actually looking to do something with it so you don't panic and freak out. Hey, if someone's going and drilling at your body, what you really want to avoid is compressing and punching. Actually get higher and go in a downward motion. If your opponent moves back, you lean forward. If your opponent goes to the right, you lean to the right. So you're actually adjusting in the direction of the ball. Okay? So I'm not going to slide like this to counterattack it or block it. If the ball is coming over from this direction, I'm now turning, taking my little laser and pointing. So now I can punch it right back down and do something with the ball that can often end the point. Now I'm going to finish that point instead of my opponent.